Hi, I'm Stacie.
And I'm Kristi.
Welcome back to Art After Dark. Today, Kristi and I are talking about building community through Substack. What's working, what's surprising, and why we don't totally agree on it. Let's get into it.
Episode 9. We are going to talk about building community through Substack, which I definitely feel like is more of a Stacie thing, but I'm going to have my own point of view.
Can you think about why you decided to start Substack?
I think for me it was like some combination of fear of missing out, and I was also trying to figure out ways to reduce like my business overhead. And so like one way to do that was to not pay for an email service provider anymore. And of course, the service provider I had been using had just raised their rates, which kind of made me really annoyed, you know? And so that's what also like pushed me to looking into Substack.
Yeah, money
What
motivated.
about you? Yeah, very money motivated.
I did it because I was I was feeling a lot of pressure from Instagram to create content and have it look a certain way when really, I'm older, I've been around a little bit longer. When I started Instagram, it was like what it was originally. It was a place to like post pictures and share, and it was a lot more organic and natural than it is now, where everything is like hyper curated. Although I do think there is sort of a slight shift to be a little bit more authentic in quotes. Um, so I just got really tired of feeling like I had to perform for it.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I'm going to start a Substack. I don't know anything about it, literally nothing. And I'm going to be very clear that I'm using this as a place that's kind of like in between. I can still post similar things that I would post on Instagram, but it allows me more freedom. I don't feel like it has to be especially curated. I can like talk about what I want to talk about more fully instead of like short captions and all those things. So it's been a year now that I've been on Substack. And I think the biggest shift is that when I go into Substack, I enjoy it versus going into Instagram, I immediately tighten up and get mad. Why do I have to do this? Why am I even doing this? And just show me the cat videos or like House of the Dragon or any of those things. Like that's what I am now looking at Instagram for. So yeah, that's kind of what got me into it, is just trying to find a place that I could spread out more than you
Yeah.
can on Instagram.
And it sounds like maybe a place like to go to like definitely show my age as well, like to have more of like a blog style, like thinking out loud situation, which you can have on Instagram, but I feel like people don't read on Instagram. And so, um, yeah, it sounds like maybe a little bit of that too, like just a place to have thoughts and discussions and, share.
Yeah, and I just feel better like going in there. Like, I don't know. It doesn't have this crazy feeding me all this random shit. And so much of it is like shopping on Instagram. It's like buy now, buy
Yeah.
now. And it
Yeah.
never used to be like that. And Substack's not like that. So I feel like I'm really tailoring the content that I want to see on Substack. Um, yeah, in fact, even I just went through and unsubscribed from a handful of Substacks that seemed to be inactive. So I can just really like narrow it down to what I want to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's been really good for that. I not knowing anything about Substack, I had no idea what I'm doing. I had no intention of like monetizing or growing or whatever. I'm just like trying to figure it out. But one thing I experimented with was posting notes, which is a feature of Substack, It is similar to an Instagram post in the sense that usually people will share an image and then you can write something about it, or you can share, like if you've just posted an article, which is like a longer format post,
Hmm.
you can share that as a note. Um, I decided to start posting sketchbook work or just whatever I'm making in whatever finished or unfinished form it is, Monday through Friday, one image, 5 days a week. And I saw incredible growth of followers by doing that. And I just was like curious to see what would that do and how did it feel? Like, did I enjoy it? Which I actually did a lot. And it was kind of fun to go through, because I'm not making content 5 days. I'm not making art 5 days a week that I
Yeah.
can share. So it was like, going through old sketchbooks and kind of like seeing old friends in a way, like revisiting drawings that I'd done in the past, photographing them and then posting them. And also, I mean, my photographs we're not winning any awards with my photography here. This is like quick sketchbook shots and then post. I spend
Hmm.
the absolute minimal amount of time on it. So yeah, it's just been really fun to see that. I had one mini viral moment where I posted a painting of a Bon Maman jam jar, which I had painted like in 2020 or something. And that sort of went viral by my standards and certainly by my Instagram standards. I mean, my Instagram, I'm lucky if I get 300 views on a reel and 26 likes on a post. And I
Yeah.
got 300 likes on that post, which again, at the time, that was crazy. And there were a lot of
Hmm.
comments, like people commenting on it.
Hmm.
So that does sort of, gas you up a little bit. And you're like, oh, I want to keep going.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I had another one recently that has now hit 7,000 likes and like almost 100 restacks, which is like, when
Mm.
someone else has their own Substack and then they restack something.
Hmm.
Why? I don't know. It was a sketchbook spread in gouache. I don't know why that one got the attention. Who knows? But
Yeah.
it's just, I guess there's that idea of having that external validation, which is tricky. It's not what motivates me, but it's also like I'm not going to be mad at it.
Yeah.
Somebody likes what I posted, like it feels nice. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, so I think people are interested in seeing more gouache based on like some of the analytics. If you look on the back end, you can see how your posts are sort of performing. So in that sense, it is interesting, which is good because like I'm interested in gouache. So making more content about gouache is something I would want to do. And that seems to be
Hmm.
what my audience is interested in. So I don't know. But I mean, I want to hear about you as well because you said that you got this price increase from your email service provider, so you decided to switch over to Substack. Now, did you moved everyone from your provider over to Substack, which is totally allowable. It's something that you can
Yeah.
do. You can also move your Substack subscribers into your email address, into your email program as well. So those subscribers on Substack are yours
Hmm.
versus something like Instagram, which is not.
Yeah. So I downloaded, when I had all this stuff happening with my email service provider, I went ahead and downloaded the CSV of like all my subscribers, which is, like it's under 1,000 people, but still. Um, and I imported them all into Substack and I sent like my first, message basically letting people know this is still me. This is what these messages are going to look like now. And this is why I'm over, in this new environment or whatever. And what I found was moving into Substack for some reason, it made me less likely to email. And I can't figure out why. I don't really know why. It could just be something so as simple as like I'm more familiar with the previous system I was using, and so I knew how to build an email in there really fast. or I would go to build an email in Substack and I think it never feels like an email to me. It feels like I'm writing a blog post.
Yeah.
And a blog post and an email aren't the same thing. So I think I had a really hard time wrapping my brain around these things that they're calling articles. To me, that is a blog post.
Mm-hmm.
But what about an email I'm trying to send out to just like inform people about something? Like, that's not a note and it's not an article. So, what do I do with it? And so I was just struggling with that piece of like, not even fully understanding how to utilize their system and like make it make sense.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, I subscribe to a lot of Substacks, and what I was finding in my own use of that system was I was overwhelmed.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't fixing any problem for me. It was like, it's so easy to subscribe to a Substack. You just do. And then you're getting so many emails in your inbox that are all Substacks. And honestly, that was annoying me. It was
Mm-hmm.
just like, I don't need more emails in my inbox. And I do the same thing though with like other, with like more traditional email subscription things. But for some reason, Substack really like hit me in a different way that was just like, I feel overwhelmed by this. I don't like it.
Yeah.
And so it's only in the last, I'd say, month maybe, that because basically what happened was I just stopped emailing.
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, I don't know how to use this system, so I'm just not going to use it.
Yeah.
And, to be fair, like within my own business, there were things that were, I was just quiet in my own world anyway. But then when I had something to say, I was just kind of like, I don't want to use that. And so I just stopped emailing. And then a month ago, I just was like, you know what? I didn't completely close down my email service provider. I just like downgraded to their free plan, which
Okay.
loses a lot of features.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, whatever. At least it's still I was like, this is like my safety net, right? And so I just logged back in to that email service provider and was like, I'm just going to send an email this way. And
Yeah.
since then, I've been doing that, every couple of weeks, consistently again, sending an email. So it's just like, it's so funny that it's such a different feeling for me that like, I just feel completely overwhelmed by Substack. And I think part of it is like some of the Substacks that I'm like subscribed to, like they just send a lot, like sometimes almost daily
Yes.
emails. And I'm like, listen, like
Yes.
I don't need to hear from you daily. And so, um, I don't know. It's just been something to think about. And like, if I decided to go back to Substack to think about how I would want to do it, but it's still not clear to me, like, how do you sell on Substack? How do you like do these things that are part of my business that I have to do?
Yeah.
Um, that part is really unclear to me. I don't know. Have you sold anything
I
through Substack?
no. No,
Mm.
but the what's interesting is the post that I made teasing my gouache calendar before it became
Mhm.
available on Etsy. That was one of my highest performing articles. There
Mm.
was no sales at all because it wasn't up on Etsy yet. It was just sort of like a
Right.
teaser. And I don't really know what to make of that information. But I can't point to any sales that have come directly from Substack. When I receive an email about a new subscriber, it will give me like it shows whatever their little bio is that they put in themselves, and it'll say also subscribes to. It'll list maybe three and 108 other Substacks. I'm like, how are you
Oh,
subscribing to 108 Substacks? Because
yeah.
I had the same problem where there was one in particular that I will not name, but I was getting what seemed to me 1 to 2 emails every single day. And each one was like, day one of a 5 day whatever. And then it'd be like a day later and it'd be like day one of another 10-day something. And it was like the same person. It was like, I don't know what you're fucking doing. You're making me insane. So I just like turned off all the notifications, and then I ultimately unsubscribed. Um,
Mm.
it is very easy to subscribe, and it's not so easy to unsubscribe from Substack.
Mm. Yeah.
I totally know what you're saying about not knowing how to use it in, and having this sort of disconnect between it being an email and an article or like a blog post.
Mm-hmm.
For me, the way I get around that is that I don't care. I just
All right.
I I write the article as if I'm talking to you, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And then I post it and you get it in your inbox. And that's, I don't think about it beyond that.
Mm-hmm.
I still have a Flow Desk email that I send once a month, and that's usually the second Friday. I try to be consistent on that. For the most part, I am. And that is even a slightly different tone. That's where I feel more comfortable if I have any sales, things that I want to sell, like updates to my Etsy shop, or if there's a new licensing, haha, a new licensing collaboration. That's kind of where I would put those things. I feel like I use Substack primarily for my process, my thoughts, and hopefully things that help other people learn or think about things. But it is also selfishly just a way for me to kind of like bleh, get things out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so yeah, it's tricky. I mean, I even the title of my Substack is called Pretty Good, which is something that my mom used to always say all the time. Like, hey, hey mom, how are you doing? I'm pretty good, pretty good. And so I just like that phrase, and every time I say it, I hear it in her voice. So it's pretty good. It's not like, it's not great, it's not bad, it's not the
Mm-hmm.
worst. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
And it also allows me to, it takes the pressure off of it having to be perfect. It's pretty good. Huh.
Mm-hmm.
So I like intentionally named it that.
I have a question, and I don't know if you'll know the answer to this. So, is there an algorithm behind Substack? Do you only see what you subscribe to? Or do they also like recommend, based on the information they have about you, things you might like?
The notes feed is, without actually researching this, the notes feed does appear to have an algorithm, because there are
Okay.
definitely things on there that I'm not following that I see.
Okay.
Um, One of the nice things about it is that the people that I do follow can restack from other Substacks. So, like, I'm only following people that I'm interested in what they're doing. They're going to
Mm-hmm.
restack something from someone else who's going to have probably something I'm interested in as well. So I do get
Mm-hmm.
content from what other people restack, but definitely there are things
Mm-hmm.
that show up in my feed that are not people that I follow. Now, in
Okay.
my inbox are only
Right.
people that I subscribe to. So that's like maybe 6 or 10 at the most, 10. I think I whittled it
Mm-hmm.
down. Even Jane Fonda got the axe because every single one of her posts is paid, which is
Oh,
fine. But
yes.
I'm not gonna. I don't need to see the first two paragraphs of your post if every single one of your posts is paid. Like, I'm not interested in that.
Yeah,
So
it's so
Jane
funny. I
Fonda.
just had that experience with somebody the other day. Somebody that I followed for a long, long time who has had lots of like life change that I'm like very interested in. I'm invested. And
Yeah,
so she posted something recently and she's moved to Substack. And I feel like the last several things I've received from her, same thing, I can only read the first two paragraphs. And I'm just like, I don't want to subscribe. I don't want to pay for your Substack.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
which maybe is
yeah.
just like the perfect way to weed out the people who aren't the true fans, right? Like I'm not a big enough fan to say I'll give you my $4 a month or whatever.
100%. Yeah, yeah. So that's why Jane Fonda got the axe despite letting her. So I think I noticed that when I do the note post my engagement does increase. I get more subscribers. I also just recently did a collaboration with Helen Stark where we did a live Substack. First time I've ever drawn live on the internet. Didn't do very much drawing because there was a lot of talking and it's hard to draw and talk at the same time. But that's one way also to get a bigger audience, right? Because like her subscribers are coming to her feed, her live session, and my subscribers are coming to mine. And so there's like a lot of crossover there. So I think that's sort of interesting. I mean, I know Instagram does things like that too, but for whatever reason, it feels better. Everything just feels better to me on Substack. Like F Instagram at this point.
Yeah, I think
So
that part is maybe the thing I would be the most interested in on Substack is that like not that you're obviously not seeing Helen Stark in person, but like it feels so much more personal, right? And there's like other Substacks that I've been a part of where they partner with all these different artists and there's like this little like from the outside it looks like, oh, they have a really nice community of people that they're like constantly kind of, sharing and like working with and it looks like fun, like that looks like fun to me.
yeah, I guess one of the questions, to kind of ask ourselves is why. First of all, why are we talking about Substack? I mean, it is an opportunity to build a community, and I think it's a much more real community than what we can build on Instagram. Instagram just feels
Hmm.
like faceless and disconnected. Whereas with Substack, I do feel like it is actually a tighter community. And in terms of our business, we've both talked about like I can't trace any sales back to a Substack, and you find it challenging to make kind of more of those sales articles on Substack, which I do as well. So why are we doing it in our 2 hours a night after
Hmm.
dark? Um, I mean, I think my answer is that I just enjoy it
Yeah.
and I'm not attached to the outcome for right now. I mean, I do have some paid subscribers and God bless them because I don't give them anything different at this point. Like, and I've been very clear about that. Like in my about section, this is the Wild West. I'm going to post when I feel like it. There's not a schedule. I'm just going by like, so if you're here for that, then obviously, of course, I appreciate it. But like, this is not a like,
Yeah.
I don't have content pillars. I don't have boxes that I'm checking off. I am really just posting things as it comes. And sometimes that's 2 posts a week. Sometimes that's 1 post every 2 months. Just
Hmm. Yeah.
so I think there's value in that, like building that community, but also doing something that feels good
Hmm.
personally.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the fact that you enjoy it is the number one reason to keep doing it, right? Like, because it makes it a lot easier. um, yeah. So if somebody was going to start a Substack, do you have any tips or would you just say just like do it, like just try it out?
Oh, definitely just try it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, just start and post a picture of yourself, write a little about page, and then just start. I'm sure at this point, many of the artists that you follow on Instagram, it's highly possible that they have a Substack as well.
Hmm.
And so you can follow them you can subscribe to their Substack. Everyone usually has a free tier, so you can dip your toe in. I know that Substack recommends you have a paid tier offer and that you start that even before you're ready, which I definitely did because I didn't know what I was doing. I'm not claiming to know what I'm doing. I'm just posting when I feel like it, but I do have a paid
Hmm.
tier. Um, so, it's, I say go for it. There's really and see how you like it. I mean, see how you like it. And if you don't like it, then you don't have to do it. But I don't feel the same pull towards Instagram the way I do towards Substack. And to me, that's worth listening to.
This is like a very particular question, but I wonder, do you use Substack on your phone or on your computer or both?
100% on my computer.
Mm.
I don't enjoy
I had
looking
a
at it on
feeling
my
you were
phone.
going to say that.
Yeah, I don't enjoy looking at it on my phone. Um, I can't honestly think of a time I used my phone to do the live because I needed to
Right.
record overhead, but otherwise I don't use it for anything on my phone.
Hmm. Yeah.
Also, I feel like looking at it on a phone would make it feel more like Instagram, like a social feed.
This is why I'm asking, is because I think, I mean, obviously to write an article, I would do that on my computer.
Yeah.
But otherwise, my primary interaction with Substack had been through my phone.
Mm.
And so I think that's one more reason why it just felt like
Mm.
another thing. It felt like another social media platform to me. But I can see how if you were only using it through a computer, it would create a completely different kind of feeling.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I definitely also because, for example, like Helen Stark has a weekly visual journal and she usually does a time lapse of her process. I don't want to look at that on
Hmm.
my phone. I want to see it big. I want to slow it down. I want to know what material she's using. I want to break it down. I want to look. Her photographs are beautiful. I want to see them big. I click on them so they become bigger. Like the Substacks that I follow are like little treats in my inbox. So
Yeah.
I don't want to look at that on my phone. Like, no. All right.
All right. Well, if you are interested in Substack, ask Stacie all your questions.
No, but I think it's good
Uh,
that we both have, we have different perspectives. And I really, the fact that you tried Substack and noticed that it wasn't working for you and then just switched back just shows that you can change direction at any time. Like it's not a big deal. I'm sure nobody noticed the switch back or the switch, maybe the switch to, just because it was slightly different. And obviously, you commented on it in your email that I'm coming from here now. But you're never stuck in one direction. You can always change. Um,
yep.
but I say dip your toe, dip your toe.
Mhm. I mean, even just talking to you now, I'm like, well, maybe I should give it another shot.
I mean, it is confusing. I'm not going to lie. Having a flow desk email once a month, having Substack articles, and then do I have a blog on my website too? How is that different than Substack? So I do come up against that problem, and I haven't updated my blog on my website in probably, I mean, I don't know. Has it been a year? I'm not sure. Because I just don't really know how to sort out those three. I don't know how those three work together. Obviously, everyone tells you you can reuse content, and I think you can. I just haven't figured out how to do it yet.
Yeah,
So,
that's fair.
yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for sharing all your Substack knowledge.
What knowledge there is. Okay, so this is episode 9. We have one more episode to go in this season. If you can maybe leave in the comments for us, what is one thing you might try differently in how you show up online this week and whatever that means for you, if that's like on Instagram or if it's on YouTube, um, or if it's on Substack. What's one thing you'll do
Yeah.
differently this week?
All right. Sounds good. And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks so much for listening to Art After Dark. If you connected with today's episode, we'd love for you to subscribe and share it with a friend who's on their own creative quest. And if you want to follow along with our work, you'll find all the links in the show notes. Until next time, keep creating, and we'll see you after dark.